There we go. How are you, everybody? It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live on a Monday night from an undisclosed location somewhere deep within the swamps of Central Florida. How are you? Greetings, Jorge. Dungeon Minister, always a pleasure to see you, Padre. Rabbit Wrangler, who else is out there? Recon, Graph Paper Architect, James Seymour, Wave of Mutilation. It's Neil before Zod, by the way. Damien X247. I hope you're all having a fantastic time this evening. And that goes equally for my friends over on Twitter. I hope you too are doing very well. But anyway, apologies for the start camera error. I got it fixed. Anyway, let me ask you guys something. Let me ask you a question. How did you all get in there? How did you all? This is only like this thick. How are you all crammed in there? It's very strange. Anyway, I hope you are well on this Monday because it has sucked for the Dungeon Delver. So let me tell you. In the words of Con Noonien Singh, explain it to them. So our house, like a lot of houses, is in need of a little TLC, a little cleanup, a little, shall we say, refresh. And Mrs. the Dungeon Delver wants, that's the operative word, wants new windows. We found an agreeable service to do it. They gave us an agreeable price. Now, we measured our windows before the consultant. The consultant measured our windows. A second consultant came and measured our windows. I want to point this out. That's 3 people, 2 in the industry involved in this process. This is apparently a very in-demand service because rather like buying a new video card, getting your engine tuned up, or your car repainted, it's an upgrade rather than going and purchasing a whole new one. And the way the market is today, particularly when they just announced that the average home buyer's age in the United States is 56. 56. Buying houses used to be a young people's game. I thought we got in late that I owned my first home at 31, but I digress. So we had this done. And because we and many, many, many thousands of other people are having this done, there was a waiting list. To put this in perspective, it was the end of July that my wife decided she wanted to do this. August, we talked it over. September, we got a consultant out. Today, November 4th, they arrive. Now, from Friday to literally this morning to their arrival, because Mrs. the Dungeon Delver was under the weather. She's fine. I have been soloing the Tetris of making sure that stuff is moved 3 feet away from the windows. That includes both daughters' bedrooms, our master bedroom, the kitchen, the living room. I have literally moved a ton of furniture. I would estimate everything I moved weighed 2,000 pounds in total. They get here. Now, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because we're not, I wasn't anywhere near done. And then continued to do stuff. Woke up my daughters to have them clean up their bedrooms. And we do the best job we can. Wife shows me the work order. They'll assist in moving heavy furniture. Because I imagine that there are probably, widowers, pensioners, elderly folks. They can't move all that heavy stuff themselves. But still, I want it as much. If anything's going to get broken, it's going to be by my hand. They arrive, start looking around, even go so far as to remove some screws from the window frames. Now, I'm going to pause here in the telling of today's events and point something out. The 3 measurements means that the windows were manufactured off-site. Come in, zip, 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 zip. Windows come out, new windows go in. Zip, 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 zip. I'm not saying it would have been an easy process, but it certainly wouldn't have been a, we'll be back tomorrow to finish it process. Well, electrical tape some visqueen up. So they go about their back and forth. They bring their tools in, perfectly friendly guys. And I also want to make something clear. I am not, none of this is directed at them, because all those measurements we took were to ensure that the windows manufactured off-site in a factory would be correct. They show up with the windows, and, well, I'll stop baiting you guys. The X and Y was flipped. What do I mean by that for our non-math friends? Picture this is the nice broad picture window of a living room. It is this long and this high. Someone at the factory decided that it was this long and this high. And no, you can't simply turn the window frame. Every window had the X and Y axes reversed. We waited 2.5 months. I busted my ass for 3 days straight. And in an event that is so utterly absurd as to defy probability, that is so utterly absurd, it could only happen to me because they said so, that this didn't happen. Our windows were wrong, completely wrong. Every window, James, every window. So I have spent from 10 o'clock this morning when they vacated the premises until about a half an hour ago putting everything back where it belongs. And whenever, could be 2025, I don't know, they return with our windows, I'll have to do it all again. We get a new install date. I will once again have to move a multi-100-pound bookcase. Obviously, I'll take all the books out. A desk, a couple of beds, a couch. Remove everything from a kitchen counter. How's your Monday going? So that's how things started. That's how things have started today, and it's it is proceeding in pace. Thank you, Vixoon. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I just saw your comment, dear. Thank you over there on Twitter. Uh, I do. I do appreciate it. So, um, so anyway, that's what happened. Now, I did see there's something that I want to share with you guys, and I gotta pull this up on Twitter. Don't yell at me about Twitter. Orbital Air, my apologies. Um, I want to share something with you guys. You guys know me. I tend to geek out about cool stuff. Um, things that I like periodically. And I have to geek out about this. And I hope if the person concerned is actually tuning in, that they do not get like weirdo vibes off this. But I'm gonna. All right. You guys know how much I love artwork, art books, that sort of thing. I have a small library here of art. Some of it I can't share on YouTube because things. If you follow me on Twitter or even on Facebook, I've shared a few pictures. I've got some Soriyama. I've got some Regis Moulin. I've got some Shiro Vallejo. A few a few Frazetta art books, and I quite like all of them. Um, Chris Foss, Diary of a Space Person. Um, so there is an artist, and I have shared a couple of his images with you guys. And I'm actually going to real quick here. This guy right here, and I promise if you don't know this person's artwork, or if you don't know this person, you know his artwork. I did not plan to talk about this, by the way, at least initially, because I did not know about this announcement. So the artist in question I'm talking about is Matt Rhodes, and you guys know this image. It's titled "We Are Not Taking the Wizard," and this is probably my first encounter with Matt Rhodes' art. Um, every moment that passes that you look at that image, it gets better slash worse. Um, he is sitting, his stool is made of a giant spider. His boots are made of penguins. His belt pouch literally has spiders just crawling out of it. His other belt pouch appears to be an octopus. He is drinking or out of or vomiting into a human head or a primate head of some kind. The more you look at it, the weirder it gets, and I like it a lot. Hello, Kabuki Kid. Good to see you. And I absolutely love it. So I started digging up Matt's artwork and looking at more and more and more and more cool stuff. He's got uh, a nativity image called Silent Night that is just it's one of my favorite holiday images. He is risen is another one. Powerful, powerful image he has risen. But Matt does art across many different subjects. And I love his art. So I completely geeked out this weekend when I found out, just like, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to start following this guy." Now, he is not one of those, yeah, I follow 50,000 people and I have, 1.2 million followers or anything like that. Like, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start following you." And I was just just geeking out about it. And before anyone asks, yes, I invited him on the show. So hopefully that'll happen someday. We chit-chatted and I gushed like a fanboy. But the thing that I want to tell you guys about this is not just me blowing sunshine at my own hind end, because this amazing artist followed me on the Twitter space. The reason I bring this up, one of the best science fiction uh, stories, not fantasy stories, I'm sorry, fantasy stories that you've never read is Matt Rhodes' Tellurion. It is available as a book. I hope Mrs. Claus puts that under the tree, as well as his book, The Art of Matt Rhodes. Tellurion is an entirely visual story. It is a Bildungsroman. It is just achingly pretty. And superlatives fail me. Superlatives utterly fail me. Now you can go dig it up on his DeviantArt page. I recommend just buying the book just so you can savor it. But if you're over on Twitter, I cannot recommend enough that you follow Matt, and every day, because this will last for probably until 2026. Read the Tellurion panels and the published order. It is so good. And I'm so happy he's republishing the story. It is some really great fantasy. It's I mean, it's the kind of thing that we would have gotten from Marvel's Epic Illustrated. I don't know about heavy metal. And that's not a quality statement. I just think I think, and you'll understand this when you get through. I mean, you've really got to pay attention to the details in the panels. I think it would have fit Epic Illustrated better than heavy metal. But judge for yourself. Follow Matt on Twitter or go to Matt Rhodes' art and buy a copy of the book. This is completely unsolicited on my part and nothing but fanboy geeking out. And again, it is an entirely visual story. But when you get 5 or 6 images in, you've already created a voice for these people. You've already created the onomatopoeia, the blaminations, everything for this work in your head. Go do it. If you're on Twitter, go and follow Matt and start reading Tellurion. This is the first panel. It's up today and it kicks off an amazing story. So you should do that. If you even pretend to call yourself a fan of fantasy storytelling, go read Tellurion. That is my evangel for the day. And seeing that Matt is republishing it again. If you're like me and you see a few panels of this and you're just like, I must consume, then go to his DeviantArt page and you can just read the whole thing one panel after the other. It's just the DeviantArt's user interface is garbage. And just like, oh, next. It's going, you like this guy's art? I'm going to start putting some other art in the mix here. So it's like, look at the panel, blow it up to its glorious size. Then you got to close it. Then you got to click on the next one. And so just the next button won't help you. So I cannot say enough good about Tellurian. I want you guys to go read it or to follow Matt on Twitter or both or all three. Buy it, go read it, and follow him on Twitter. So that's what I said. It's not a giant mushroom. It is a huge dome tent on top of a watchtower wave. So anyway, well, the week can only get better from here. The week can only get better from here. And in keeping with that, tomorrow we are once again to play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I'm excited about that. I hope you're excited about that. And I almost forgot to mention something. If you haven't already, if you like deep dives into tabletop RPG lore and history, interviews with artists and creators, actual plays, and tons of technical errors, please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications, because that really helps us out. And if you're watching this video at some point in the future, greetings, future person. I hope you find the quaint ways of those of us living in the past amusing and interesting. Tomorrow night, first edition AD&D. Got some great folks playing first edition AD&D with us. Wednesday night, Kyle's schedule has been crazy. I'm going to say that Wednesday night, Kyle will be in the house. That one of the kids is not going to bring home a virus from school, that he's going to be able to game with us for a few hours. Thursday night, I don't know. You'll just have to see what's going to happen on Thursday night. Friday night, back to the radioactive waste, back to Gamma World, back to Legion of Gold. I hope you guys are hyped for that. I know I am. So that's our week ahead. And no, I am not streaming on Saturday. Greetings, Lightmane. Good to see you. But anyway, so that is our week moving forward. That's what's week this week. No, our weeks are never week. So do you guys want, James Seymour said Gamma Cthulhu. No, it's not going to be Call of Cthulhu. I just wanted to mention this. A couple of Halloween things. Last week, which, to go by the number of views the video got, not many of you know about. But on Thursday, on Halloween night, I did the readings of 3 horror stories. I think I did okay. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I mulled this over this weekend in the moments that I had to take a breath. And then today, taking breaks in between, putting everything back where it belonged. I have decided on the setting and era for next Halloween's Call of Cthulhu game. Setting, the Jersey Pine Barrens. Era, once again, early 1970s. Don't miss it. Be there. All right. So, with all of that said, late last week, actually. Was it late last week? I can't remember if it was Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It's not a Sopranos episode, Kabuki. Although that could be fun at some point. A fan of the show, but more than that, he's a guy that I've known for, good Lord, 25 years now. First knew him in an internet way on a completely unrelated web forum. Dragged him kicking and screaming, almost said streaming again, kicking and screaming into my Monday night first edition AD&D campaign. Now, this cat is a globetrotter, okay? In fact, he's even wound up here in Florida before. I've hosted him here in Castle Delve, which was a ton of fun. Dice Tales brings up the Jersey Devil. Maybe. I'm playing it close to my chest. I've already decided what it's going to be in it. I want to just ratchet up the creep factor. So you never know. So anyway, this fellow, I'm not going to dox him. We'll say his name is Stan. Anyway, you know what? No, it's not like you guys are going to be able to figure out who it is. Dan. It's Dan. Dan was in the game last Monday night, or the week before. Hello, Robert Robovsky Turner. Good to see you. And anyway, Dano was snacking on something. And we got to talking about it. And I said, well, I like those. You should send me some. And I was like, okay, he was in a foreign country where these are common, Guam specifically. And I was like, hey, okay, all right. I'll get a bag in a month. I'll get like a FedEx bag or DHL, a little DHL box with one bag in. My dude sent me a box full of the snack, and I'm going to show you guys what the snack is. I'm gonna hold up these, and I'm going to put them on camera. Now, I want to point out, I got 8 baggies of these. Not 1, not 2, 8 baggies of each, 2 of each flavor. So let's go over to tripod cam. I got, these are cracker coated peanuts. These are cracker coated peanuts from the Philippines. They were for sale in Guam. And I got original flavor. I got barbecue. Garlic. And last but not least, hot and spicy. And these are by Nagaraya is the company that makes these. Nagaraya. So he sent me 8 bags of these. Sorry, 8 bags of these of various flavors. So thank you so much, Dan. Now, the day they got here, was it the day they got, when they got here, my daughter had an anime club at the library, and I was like, you know what, these are from the Pacific Rim. So I said, Why don't you take the plain and then pick another flavor you think they might like? So she took the plain and the garlic. The garlic were a huge hit. No garlic came home, but most of the plain came home. A Nagaraya, what are I didn't think about that, Kabuki, but I'm gonna stat it up now. So now it's been a week. I unabashedly, I've gotten into these. I tried the garlic last night. So I'm going to tell you guys about the flavor of these. It is, first of all, there's a sweetness to it. They're like mildly, the peanuts themselves are like very mildly honey roasted, not like the full-on sweetness you would get from like Planters honey roasted peanuts. Just like a mild honey roasting to them. And the flavor of the cracker coating is equally mild. So you generally get kind of a sweetness, a saltiness, and then just a hint of the garlic and the barbecue, which I have had. And the plain is just a simple cracker flavor. So, oh, thank you, Dice Tales. Hello, Wheeling Dragon. Good to see you, my dear. But what I have not tried are the hot and spicy ones. So my question to you, my dear audience, shall I try the hot and spicy cracker coated peanuts? Should I give those a try? Hopefully I left myself a little bit of water. Now, I don't think these are, this is not like ghost pepper or anything like that. I didn't know, but I got to be honest. I sat on whether or not I should have any at all before, because I was like, this is perfect mail call fodder for Monday. I'm seeing try them. So let's look at the ingredients. Selected peanuts, wheat flour, sugar, modified cornstarch, natural flavoring, cayenne powder, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, no artificial coloring, maltodextrin, soybean extract, iodized salt, refined coconut oil, and flavor enhancer, monosodium glutamate. So there should be a comma there if I didn't pronounce a comma. No artificial coloring, comma, and then the rest of the things. So the least amount of stuff it's got in it is MSG. And MSG is not it's not bad for you. Okay. That was some made up BS in the 80s. Divide them amongst your viewers. And what? Send like 2 to each of you in an envelope. So anyway, let's see. So saturated, here we go. Calories per serving, serving size, 3 servings per container. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's 5 servings per container. Quarter cup, 150 calories per quarter cup. To put this in perspective, an entire Coke is 160 calories. Hail lobster, unbreaded, but not uncrackered. Michael Connor, not uncrackered. Total fat, 7 grams. Saturated fat, 1 gram. No trans fats. No cholesterol. 100 milligrams of sodium. All the salt you need. 18 grams carbohydrates. 1 gram dietary fiber. 2 grams of sugar. 4 grams of protein. 0.01 milligrams of vitamin D. 11.43 milligrams of calcium, 140 milligrams of potassium, 0.86 milligrams of iron. Can't believe I'm doing tonight's deep dive for all you Dungeons and Dragons fans is Nagaraya Cracker Nuts packaging. Let's see. Hot and spicy flavor. Have a sizzling good, great time. It's like having fireworks with your snack or party. Enjoy the crunch. Made in the Philippines by Food Industries. Food Industries. I don't think you guys care about the address, but you can find them on Facebook under Nagaraya. Wave one. I'm not going to be like forcing these things down my throat. So here we go. For your entertainment. I'm going to hopefully be able to open these. Better than not Food Industry. Yeah. Unnatural foods. See, here's the thing. Yes, I could just rend these open, but I don't want to send them flying. I'm going to, pardon me for a moment here. Here, we'll just use a screwdriver to kind of start the tearing. There we go. All right. So for the first time ever on the show, again, the flavor has been very mild. The scent is about like they all have, which is, again, it's predominantly a cracker scent. So let's see. Wave of mutilation. That's not nice. Okay, so here we go. I did dump a few in my hand, but I'm not going to shove them all in. That's a good size one there. Now, someone mentioned that the heat would kind of creep up on you. Slowly warming. There's that sweetness. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I like this better than the barbecue ones. I would do like a 50-50 mix if I was just going to like pop these in. Like this and any of the other flavors, plain garlic or barbecue. Hello, great old ones. They're not bad. They're not bad. So there you go. Now, if you guys have got a Filipino grocery or Asian grocery or something like that, I would be willing to bet you could find these wherever you're at. That is warm. I really like that. That is, I'd be rude and sit here and shove snack food into my face. And by the way, I'm not like oh, I got to put out that fire because first of all, water doesn't help; it just activates the stuff. It's dry. It's peanuts and crackers. So it's very tasty. It's very tasty. compare it, not necessarily saying it's as good. But Wheeling Dragon, it is in that same category as wasabi covered peas. The nice thing about wasabi covered peas is I know where I can get them around here. Do you know where you can get them around your neck of the woods, Wheeling Dragon? Because the anime section in the FYE located in our mall, and I only know this because I have to go there to buy Christmas gifts or snacks for my daughter's anime club. They do sell them there. They do sell wasabi covered dried peas. Sean, I'd be willing to bet that that they've got them, or they can get them if you're interested. Now, one thing I got to be careful is not reach up and scratch my eyes because salt and there is spice to them. It is settling down. Oh, that's a shame, Wheeling. Let's see. Let's look this up. Well, I know I've seen them there, but it's, you know what? It's probably you can't buy them through the online store. And yet they have the mochi online. Anyway, so that's enough snack food talk. They're good. They're very tasty, and I recommend if you get a chance to try them and you're looking for something a little unusual, something to nosh on when you're watching a movie by yourself, because you guys heard that, right? The crunch, 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 crunch. Yeah. Oh yeah, kids love Pocky. Both of my daughters love the Pocky. So anyway, with that said, let's talk a little bit of let's talk a little bit of D&D. The question came up again recently on the Twitter space. Someone asked, it's in your username. Yeah, I was gonna say. Your my mouth noises are frequently offensive, but that was not one of the times. Is that what you're saying, Wave? But the question came up: do you allow firearms in D&D? Now, my +5 shield and plus matching +5 plate mail is I don't care what you do in your game. I don't care what others do in their games. And see, that sometimes can I'll get into it in a minute. Sometimes though that can come back and bite you in an interesting way. So the question came up, do you allow firearms in your D&D games? I don't. There are exceptions. They can be fun exceptions. Gamma World, or if you do the mutants and magic, like, hey, we probability traveled to Gamma World in the AD&D game, or we probability traveled to Boot Hill in the AD&D game and brought back a 6-shooter, 6 shots, and then okay, it's done, because as Gary says, just don't allow gunpowder to work in your universe if you don't want guns in your universe. I do not do firearms in my AD&D games. I don't. I just feel there's a tipping point where it's like I could take the magic user, or I could just have a footman with a brace of pistols. Don't need you anymore, magic user. Or archers, or crossbows, or slings, or bows, darts. No, just pistols, rifles, and I'm good to go. I Sea Lord Misfit, I don't either. Some people do it, and it's like I guess now you guys who played it, is this a Pathfinder or is this a 4E 5E thing? I don't think it was in 3E. Uh but they introduced literally just said, oh, you're a gunslinger. Oh, my character's a gunslinger. He's got guns. You know, that's a I cast hot lead. I do it 3 times around. Bam, bam, bam. You know. Um I don't dig it. And again, I think it can be fun-ish as a one-off kind of thing. I mean, you do you, okay? I don't I'm not gonna say that all firearms in D&D games are bad and you never use them. No, never do it. I don't care if you think it's good at your table. It's bad. Don't do it. I'm never going to say that. I'm never going to say that except in jest, except an example of what I'm not going to say. Um, I don't care about your table if you use guns and it's successful. Awesome. That's awesome. This is kind of a larger thing. And I've noticed this is not something new. And I know everybody out there, you're going to go, duh. I understand. Um, I feel like a lot of the time when you put your opinion out there or ask for an opinion, maybe it's a bit of parasocial interaction. And I know this is as old as get like this has nothing to do with the internet. This isn't Twitter. This isn't about Facebook groups. It's not about emails, mailing list, Usenet, FidoNet, bulletin boards, even letters to the editor of the Dragon or the Strategic Review or Dungeon or White Dwarf or Different Worlds or Alarums and Excursion, on and on and on and on. This goes back to the first guy who said, "Hey, what do you think of my what do you think of the arrangement of my infantry here on this side of the sand table?" It goes all the way back to that. Um, and I feel like a lot of times I feel like there's discussions that get kicked off where you're like, and I'm not saying I'm immune to this, okay? I'm not saying, oh, those guys over there, they suck. That's not where I'm going with this. We, all of us, you, me, them, her, him, the guy behind him, yeah, you. Hey, Christopher Sims. I feel like there is this tendency amongst us as hobbyists to view like, you know, 3D6 or 4D4. What do you think? that a lot of times it's like we just want an answer in a vacuum, and some people take it as an open invitation to start tearing at the foundations of what you have set up. And I feel like it like a lot of times it's done very politely. Again, it's something I've been guilty of. So, it's like, well, I want to do. Let me give you an actual example here. Let me give you an actual example. When I got back into AD&D and found out there was a D&D specific Usenet group, I was not ready for the toxicity, the level of toxicity on that Usenet group. And I came in and I asked some questions because, I had, data expunged in certain areas of my AD&D files. And the responses from some more of the vocal people was, don't bother, wait until third edition comes out. I was like, well, I've got this now, and this is what I want. And this, of course, led to heat and edition warnings and so on and etc. It's like, bro, that's not what I asked you. And second of all, I mean, isn't that kind of the Osborne effect? Don't get involved in the hobby until the new edition comes out. If I waited for if I waited for um the newest edition of D&D to come out, we never get done, because until or unless D&D falls into an abyss that no one wants the IP, and whoever has the IP never wants to do any further development on it, it's not going to stop. So the Osborne effect, if you don't know what I'm talking about, um, the Osborne company made a portable PC, a little tiny CRT screen on it. It was like a 50-pound suitcase size thing. So I'm not going to call it a laptop. It was a luggable PC, but it was a luggable PC, and that was pretty revolutionary. And it was making waves. It was making waves to the point that when Steve Jobs, this is in 82, I think, at a computer expo, went over to look at the things and introduced himself to a spokesperson, maybe even the president of the company. He said, or the fellow from Osborne smiled and said, your kids are going to be using an Osborne. He knew who he was, and Apple was, because 76 for the Apple One. By this point, the 2E is, casting a long shadow across computing. And he says, your kids are going to be using Osborne. That's how confident he was. They were gone 2 years later. Why? Because as soon as this thing started selling, they started saying, if you think that one's good, wait till the model comes out next year. The model that's going to supersede that one is going to knock your socks off. And people stopped buying it, and people started returning them. And then they didn't have the money to make the next model. And then they were gone. Poof. And so wait until a new edition of D&D comes out, to me, is a non-starter of an answer. It's not as bad as the edition you're playing sucks. That should never be your if you want me to get if you want to get me to play 6th edition and your sales pitch is first edition sucks, I'm out. Just not even so that's a non-starter for me. Um and to bring all this back down, to bring all this back down to what I was talking about, um, with the with discussions and opinions and so on and etc. And if anybody from Twitter is watching this right now, okay, I'm not I'm not like this is not in response. This is my observation from what I interactions that I've seen. You know, I want to do X. Like I would like to, I want to play Temple of Elemental Evil. Put it in Forgotten Realms. Change this, and this, and also play it in 50. That's not the answer that I'm looking for. It's not. I mean, if somebody says to me, "Hey, I need some advice on running Lost Mines of Phandelver," I'm not going to seriously say, like, I'm not going to make the argument. I might jokingly say, you get a little smiley emote, run it in AD&D, or, "Hey kid, would you like to try some Caves of Chaos?" I may say that with a smile, but I'm not going to stand up on a bully pulpit and try and browbeat somebody into, no, you got to play. You got no, you're not doing it right. I know you didn't ask me for that, but I'm telling you to do that anyway. And I wonder how many. Hey, Imperial Ramblings, good to see you. Yes, then Praxis. Yes, we can do that then. Um, I just feel like there is there's we tend to view a request for information as carte blanche, like how do you spell categorize? I'm writing this paper. How do you spell categorize? Let me see that paper. All right. Well, your premise sucks, and there are like 5 paragraphs in, and you're like, I I just wanted to know how to spell one word. And that unfortunately is one of those things that's not easy to fix, because I think as nerds we tend to be fairly parasocial with each other, you know. Again, I'm not saying, hey, all you guys, and I'm not referencing something specific that, like, I've not had some awful experience, except again way back. I think when I unclenched and realized that the better way to get people to love and play classic D&D was to just play it and exalt it and ignore the people who say it sucks and it's terrible. Mute buttons are awesome things. Is really the kind of the best way to to proceed, you know. Um and generally speak Lord Corion asks, how's the night going? Look, somebody came in here, like, I didn't recognize him in the chat earlier. They said, like, you sucked and you didn't have the guts to throw a $10 super down. I don't know who they were. I don't know what all that was about. I'm just saying, that was what they said. Uh, I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing more. If you're a new subscriber, I rib folks about supers. It's anyway. Um, it's just I have more fun having fun than worrying about how other people have fun anymore these days. And I've run corporate. I've been run games for corporate groups, and every time it's been AD&D or original D&D. Okay, I gotta put that up. This is not a super chat. Thank you for being a member. By the way, if you want to become a channel supporter, you can join us over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or on YouTube for as little as $2 a month. Hey, that's not fair. I was teasing you. Thank you, Lord Coron. I appreciate that. I was just teasing you, dude. This is not Nespa on super chat, but it's just an interesting observation, guys. It's just a super interesting observation. Um, but when I ran the corporate games, nobody was like I don't like this old D&D. Why aren't you playing a new D&D? Everybody was super excited to play the game that was closest to Gary Gygax. And I was super excited to show it to them. And I don't feel like you grow the classic hobby if you don't show some positivity. So that's just an observation that I've made. Have you guys had any similar observations that you've made out there? Anything that you no suppositions, James? But anyway, Wheeling Dragon said made her spit her drink out. Oh, sorry. I hope it was just water or Kool-Aid or something like that. Not like, yeah, I ordered Mexico off of Amazon and it took 6 weeks to get here. You observe nothing, a Heisenbergian uncertainty to your days. Well, if you observe it, do you influence the outcome? And by the way, for those of you who are curious of the hot and spicy cracker coated peanuts here, there's no warmth left at all. But anyway, does anyone have any D&D related questions they'd like to throw in the chat for me? Oh, yeah. So Recon and I were talking about this on Discord. A couple of people who are like, I mean, people like that, you just got to smile and say, bless your heart, and wish them the best, and just roll on with your game. Just roll on with your game. What was my first dice set? I do not still have them. I'm gonna jump straight ahead and say that I do not still have them. But my first dice set were the TSR Dragon dice, the crappy crumbly blue ones, and mine came with a black crayon. Now, I got dice in Star Frontiers, I believe it was a light blue and a light green D10s for percentile, because Star Frontiers is all percentile. Those came with a white crayon. I think my basic D&D set, my Holmes, no, my Moldvay basic D&D set also came with a set of dice. They had a red crayon with them. My expert set, I bought at a Sears outlet store, and it had like two of everything in it, because it had been opened by someone in a Sears store, and probably a box had been destroyed, so they just put all the stuff in one box and shipped it off to the outlet store. That did not come with a set of dice. There were no dice in that. So those were my original dice. Damien, that is awesome. I'm going to put that up on screen. That goes right up there. Not D&D related, but in Friday's Mage game, your party enacted a ritual to generate cyborg locusts to devour demonically tainted Halloween products. It succeeded beyond our dreams. I love it. I love it. Now, I will say this. Threshold Dice Works, I've talked about them before. They are not a show sponsor by any stretch of the imagination, but Threshold Dice Works, they he has recently started producing high impact replicas of the Moldvay, Cook, Star Frontiers, Boot Hill, probably Gangbusters dice. So they're the same color, the same shape, the same size. You still get a crayon with them, but they're high impact resin. They're not the low impact plastic that turned into spheres over time. And I think that is pretty cool. And of course, they're all, you know, they're all, he makes artisanal batches, Um so he almost always sells out of those. So if you're going to get in on his dice, follow him on Facebook and see when he's doing batches so you can pre-order. Now I did buy, this was early 2000s. I bought a polybagged unopened set of Holmes, I did it again, of Moldvay dice, came with a crayon and everything. As soon as it got here, I opened it and I colored the dice. I've still, those dice are still kicking around here, as is the crayon. So needed 20 successes for the ritual to succeed. You got 30. That's awesome, Damien. But yeah, I got those from was it Crazy Igor's or Troll and Toad? I don't remember. So back, I would say from the mid 90s to the early 2000s, there were a lot of online stores where it was like, yeah, I need a couple of players handbooks. I need you know, my OD&D set that I paid 40 or 50 bucks for on eBay is missing monsters and treasures, so I can buy one of those for 20, 25 bucks from these guys. Yeah, there was a short period of time where you could get vintage D&D stuff for really super duper cheap. Um that time is long gone. Respectfully, respectfully, Noble Knight, they know what they've got and they know the grading and they charge accordingly um for the treasures that they have. um you're gonna pay through the nose is what I'm saying for vintage classic D&D stuff. um I think, like, I bought a Temple of Elemental Evil without map book and then found a map book for $2 later. That's just one example. So yeah, it's just going to vary if you're looking for stuff like that. But um I would truly like to have a couple of the Threshold Dice Work sets to throw into my Moldvay uh expert and basic sets, just because. I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on when he's Threshold Dice Works is selling the replica sets again. They do, Robert. They really do. I met a couple people from there at Gary Con back in 2023. I had a lot of fun talking to them. They're very passionate about what they sell. But at the same time, like, a coffee soaked, barely legible, spine blown out copy of the player's handbook, despite being a first print, they're also not going to say $100, no low ballers. I know what I got. Now, the fortunate thing is, the fortunate reality is, of course, that and someone was asking me, someone DM'd me on Twitter the other day about this. There I go with Twitter again. Someone DM'd me over on Twitter and they were like, hey, you really seem to know how to do this. How do I get my hands on the AD&D hardbacks? I was like, my man, right here, Drive Through RPG. All the core books, most of the modules, bing, bang, boom. $30 a book. 12 bucks for a PDF if you're okay with that. Same goes for the modules. And people that are like, man, I wish AD&D was back in print. It is. It is. Yeah, there's stuff that you can't get. Go out and search the web for a nice PDF of Deities and Demigods, the unexpurgated version, and get it bound and added to that collection. That's my recommendation. Anyway, I think that's just going to about wrap it up for tonight, guys. Thank you all for hanging out. Hey, Lord Corion, man, I really appreciate it, dude. I was teasing you. I was teasing you, man. Thank you very, very much for the super. Wave of Mutilation, thank you for being a member. n'est-ce pas, un super chat. Um, so I really appreciate it, guys. Again, tomorrow we're going to be back. We're going to be back. We're going to be playing first edition AD&D. Wednesday, maybe doing some D&D. Thursday, you'll just have to see. Friday, Gamma World. Bob Jester, also a member for 15 months. Thank you. Thank you. So everybody be good to each other and engage on a friendly level, because you never know who might be out there wanting to play, and they want it, you know, just be cool in all that you be. Peace, good night, and avoid owl bears, because they can't be cool. They're always angry.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.